The ship landed on the planet with a loud hum. Jin stepped out and looked at the sky. It was purple here, not blue like Earth. 2 moons hung in the distance. Everything felt strange, but Jin had seen stranger things during his years as a soldier. He was 32 years old. His hair was black and cut short. His face had a small scar near his left eye from an old fight. He wore simple clothes, a dark jacket and pants. He carried no weapons. They had taken them at the spaceport. A tall alien waited for him at the bottom of the landing platform. The alien had pale blue skin and silver eyes. He was much taller than Jin, maybe 7 feet. His body was thin but strong. He wore expensive robes made of some shiny material. "You are the human?" the alien asked. His voice was cold. "I am Jin," he said. "I am here for the guard contract." The alien looked at him like he was looking at an insect. "I am Lord, I serve Queen Sara. Follow me." Jin followed without a word. He was used to being looked down upon. Humans were new to the galaxy. Most alien races thought they were weak and stupid. Jin did not care what they thought. He only cared about doing his job. They walked through the capital city. It was beautiful. The buildings were tall and made of white stone. Strange flowers grew everywhere. The people walked past them. Some stopped to stare at Jin. They whispered to each other. Jin heard the word human many times, always spoken with disgust. Lord led him to the royal palace. It was the biggest building Jin had ever seen. It reached high into the purple sky. Guards stood at every door. They all had weapons that glowed with blue light. Inside, the palace was even more impressive. The floors were made of something that looked like glass but felt warm under Jin's boots. Paintings covered the walls. Strange music played from somewhere he could not see. They stopped in front of 2 large doors. Lord turned to face Jin. "You will meet the queen now," he said. "Do not speak unless she speaks to you first. Do not look at her directly. Do not." "I understand," Jin said. Lord's silver eyes narrowed. "You interrupt me." "You were going to tell me all the ways I could offend your queen," Jin said calmly. "I have read about customs. I know what to do." For a moment, Lord looked surprised. Then his face returned to its cold expression. He pushed open the doors. The throne room was massive. Hundreds of nobles stood on both sides, creating a path to the throne. At the end sat 2 figures. One was young and beautiful princess. Her hair was long and silver, falling past her shoulders. Her skin was the same pale blue as the others, but softer somehow. She looked nervous. Beside her sat Queen Sara. She was older than her daughter, but still beautiful in a different way. Her beauty was like ice, cold and sharp. Her eyes were gold, not silver like the others. She wore a crown made of some dark metal that seemed to eat the light around it. Jin walked forward. He could feel every eye in the room watching him. He heard laughter. Some nobles did not even try to hide their amusement. "A human," someone said loudly. "They sent a human to guard our princess." More laughter followed. Jin kept walking. His face showed nothing. He stopped at the proper distance from the throne and bowed. Not too deep, that would seem weak. Not too shallow, that would seem rude. Just right. "Rise," Queen Sora said. Her voice was low and smooth like dark water. Jin rose and looked at the floor near her feet, as custom demanded. "Look at me," the queen said. Jin looked up. Their eyes met. He saw curiosity in her gold eyes and something else he could not name. "You are smaller than I expected," she said. "Yes, Your Majesty," Jin replied. "Humans live short lives, 80 years, perhaps 90 if lucky. Is this true?" "It is true." "We live for 500 years," she said. "Why should I trust my daughter's life to a creature who will die before she even reaches adulthood?" Jin thought carefully before answering. "Because, Your Majesty, humans who know they will die soon learn to fight harder than those who think they have forever." The room went silent. No one had expected that answer. Queen Sara leaned forward on her throne. Bold words. Can you support them with action? Give me the chance and I will show you, Jin said. Princess spoke for the first time. Mother, perhaps we should choose someone else. The court does not approve. The court does not rule, Queen Sora cut her off. Her eyes never left Jin. I rule, and I find this human interesting. She waved her hand. Lord, show him to his quarters. He starts his duty tomorrow. The human will guard my daughter. The nobles erupted in whispers. Some looked angry, some looked amused. But Jin noticed that a few looked worried. That was interesting. As Jin turned to leave, he felt the queen's eyes still on his back. He also noticed Princess looking at him differently than before, not with disgust but with curiosity and maybe a little fear. Jin followed Lord out of the throne room. The tall alien said nothing until they reached a small room in the lower part of the palace. This is where you will sleep, Lord said. It is usually for servants. Jin looked at the room. It was small and simple. A bed, a table, a chair, nothing else. It is enough, Jin said. Lord paused at the door. Human, let me give you some advice. Leave while you can. You do not understand the danger you are in. There are people in this palace who want the princess dead. They are powerful. They will kill you without a second thought. Jin sat down on the bed and looked at Lord. Thank you for the warning, Lord, but I took this job knowing there would be danger. That is what guards are for. Lord shook his head. Foolish creature, you will die here. He left, closing the door behind him. Jin lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. He thought about what Lord had said. Someone wanted the princess dead. That meant there were enemies inside the palace. He would need to find them before they found him. He closed his eyes. Tomorrow his real work would begin. He had been underestimated his entire life. It had never stopped him before. It would not stop him now. Outside his window, the two moons rose higher into the purple sky. Somewhere in the palace, Queen Sora sat alone in her chambers, thinking about the strange human who had dared to meet her eyes. Jin slept. He dreamed of Earth, of green fields and blue skies. When he woke, he would be ready for whatever had waiting for him. 3 weeks passed since Jin arrived at the palace. Every day he followed Princess like a shadow. He walked behind her when she visited the gardens. He stood outside her door when she slept. He tasted her food before she ate it. The other guards laughed at him, but Jin did not care. Princess did not like him at first. She thought he was strange and ugly. His skin was too dark. His eyes were too small. He did not have the tall, graceful body of men. But she slowly began to notice things about him. He never complained. He never got tired. He never looked away from his duty, not even for a moment. When other guards talked or played games, Jin watched, always watching. Do you ever rest? She asked him one morning. I rest when you are safe, Princess, he answered. And when am I safe? Never, he said simply. Did not know what to say to that. She turned away and continued walking through the garden, but she thought about his words for the rest of the day. Tonight was the grand banquet. Every noble family in the empire would attend. It was held once every 10 years to celebrate the founding of the empire. The palace was full of activity. Servants ran everywhere, preparing food and decorations. Jin did not like it. Too many people, too many places for enemies to hide. He told Lord his concerns. You worry too much, human, Lord said. There will be 500 guards at the banquet. No one would dare attack the princess there. That is exactly why they might try, Jin said, because no one expects it. Lord waved his hand. Stay close to the princess if it makes you feel better, but do not cause any trouble. The queen does not want anything to ruin this night. Jin bowed and left. He did not trust Lord. He did not trust anyone in this palace. That was why he was still alive. The banquet began as the sun set. The great hall was filled with thousands of nobles. They wore their finest clothes. Jewels sparkled everywhere. Music played. Servants brought plates of food that Jin had never seen before. Princess sat at the high table with her mother. She wore a white dress that made her look like a star fallen from the sky. Queen Sora wore black as always. Her gold eyes moved across the room, watching everything. Jin stood behind's chair. He was the only human in the room. People stared at him and whispered. He ignored them. His eyes moved constantly, checking every face, every movement. The banquet continued for hours. Nobles came to pay respect to the queen. They made long speeches. They gave expensive gifts. Jin listened to everything but said nothing. Then he saw it. 3 servants were moving through the crowd. They carried trays of drinks, but they were not moving like servants. They moved like hunters. Their eyes were fixed on the high table, on the princess. Jin's body went cold. He looked at their hands. Under the trays he could see the shape of weapons, knives hidden but ready. He had seconds to act. The first assassin was closest. He was raising his arm, pulling out his blade. Jin moved faster than anyone expected. He grabbed a metal plate from the table and threw it like a disc. It hit the assassin in the throat. The man fell, choking. The room erupted in chaos. People screamed. Nobles ran in every direction. The second assassin rushed toward. Jin jumped over the table, putting his body between the princess and the blade. The knife cut deep into his shoulder. Pain exploded through his arm, but Jin did not stop. He grabbed the assassin's head with both hands and twisted hard. The crack was loud. The assassin fell dead. The third assassin was smart. He did not run toward the princess. He threw his knife instead. It flew through the air, spinning, aimed straight at its heart. Jin reached out and caught it. The blade cut his palm to the bone. Blood ran down his arm, but he caught it. The room went silent. Everyone stared at the human. Blood covered his clothes. A knife stuck out of his shoulder. Another knife was in his bleeding hand, and he was still standing. The third assassin tried to run. Jin threw the knife he had caught. It hit the assassin in the back of the leg. The man fell screaming. Guards finally rushed forward to capture him. Jin turned to the princess. "Are you hurt?" Could not speak. She shook her head. Her eyes were wide with shock. Jin nodded. Then his legs gave out. He fell to his knees. The wound in his shoulder was worse than he had thought. He was losing too much blood. "Get the healers," someone shouted. It was Queen Sora. She had risen from her throne. For the first time her cold face showed something, surprise, concern. Jin could not tell. His vision was getting dark. He felt hands lift him. Voices shouted around him. But one voice was clear. It was Princess. "Do not die," she said. Her hand held his. "You are not allowed to die." Jin wanted to laugh. No one had ever ordered him not to die before, but he was too weak. The darkness took him. He woke 3 days later in a bed much softer than his own. His shoulder was wrapped in bandages that glowed with healing magic. His hand was also bandaged. He could feel his fingers, which was good. Princess sat in a chair beside his bed. She was reading a book. When she saw his eyes open, she dropped the book and leaned forward. "You are awake," she said. Her voice was soft, not cold like before. "How long?" Jin asked. His throat was dry. 3 days. The healer said you almost died. You lost too much blood." Jin tried to sit up. Pain shot through his shoulder. He lay back down. Rest said, "That is an order." Jin almost smiled. "Yes, Princess." She was quiet for a moment, then she spoke again. "Why did you do it? You could have let me die. You would have been safe." Jin thought about the question. "I took an oath to protect you. I do not break my oaths." "But you barely know me. I have been cold to you. I have treated you like a servant, not a warrior." "That does not matter," Jin said. "You are my duty. Duty does not care about feelings." Looked at him for a long time. Tears formed in her silver eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "No one has ever, thank you." She stood and walked to the door. Before she left, she turned back. "My mother wishes to see you when you are strong enough. She has many questions." Jin nodded. "I expected she would." After left, Jin lay in the darkness and thought. The assassins were not random killers. Someone had paid them, someone powerful, someone inside the palace. He needed to find out who. But that would wait. For now, he needed to heal. The real battle was just beginning. Outside his window, the two moons shone down on the palace. In her private chambers, Queen Sora stood alone, looking at a small piece of bloody cloth. It was from Jin's shirt, stained with the blood he had spilled for her daughter. She pressed it between her fingers and smiled. The human had proven himself. Now she wanted to know more, much more. Jin healed faster than the doctors expected. They said it would take 2 weeks. He was walking in 5 days. The doctors were amazed. Jin was not. Humans had always been good at surviving. It was the one thing they did better than anyone else. On the 7th day, Queen Sora summoned him. 2 guards came to his room in the evening. They did not speak. They simply stood at his door and waited. Jin understood. He put on clean clothes and followed them. They walked through parts of the palace Jin had never seen. The halls here were darker. The decorations were older. There were no other people, only shadows and silence. They stopped at a door made of black wood. The guards opened it and stepped aside. Jin walked in alone. The room was the queen's private study. Books covered every wall. A fire burned in a large fireplace. And there, sitting in a chair by the fire, was Queen Sora. She wore no crown tonight. Her hair was down, falling like dark water around her shoulders. She looked younger without her royal clothing, but her gold eyes were the same, sharp and dangerous. "Come closer," she said. "Sit." Jin walked forward and sat in the chair across from her. The fire was warm on his wounded shoulder. "Wine?" the queen asked. "No, your majesty." "You do not drink." "Not when I am on duty." The queen smiled. It was a small smile, but it changed her whole face. She looked almost human when she smiled. "You are always on duty, are you not?" "Yes." She poured herself a glass of dark red wine. The firelight made it look like blood. She drank slowly, watching Jin over the rim of her glass. "Tell me about yourself," she said. "Where do you come from? Who were you before you became a guard?" Jin was quiet for a moment. "I was a soldier on Earth. I fought in 3 wars. When the wars ended, there was nothing left for me to do, so I came to the stars." "Why become a guard? You could have done many other things." "Protecting people is all I know how to do." The queen set down her glass. She leaned forward and Jin could smell something sweet from her skin. Not perfume, something natural, something. "I have watched you these past weeks," she said. "You are not like other humans I have met. They are usually loud, foolish, always wanting attention. You are quiet, patient, dangerous." Jin said nothing. He waited. "I investigated your past," the queen continued. "You were not just a soldier, you were a special soldier. You did things that normal soldiers could not do, secret things, dangerous things." Still, Jin said nothing. "You killed 63 enemy soldiers in one night during the Third Earth War. You entered a building full of hostages and came out alone with all 20 hostages alive. You survived for 30 days in a frozen wasteland with no food or water. These stories, are they true?" "Some are exaggerated," Jin said, "but mostly true." The queen stood. She walked to the window and looked out at the night sky. "I need someone like you, Jin, not just for my daughter, for myself." Jin felt something change in the room. The air became heavier. He chose his words carefully. "What do you mean, your majesty?" She turned to face him. The firelight painted half her face in gold, the other half in shadow. "My husband died 20 years ago. Since then I have ruled alone. I have had advisors, generals, lords, but no one I could trust. Everyone wants something from me, power, money, my throne." She walked closer to him. "But you want nothing. You have no ambition, no desire for power. You only want to do your duty. Do you know how rare that is? How valuable?" Jin stood. Now they were close. He could see tiny lines around her eyes. She was old by human standards, maybe 300 years, but she was still in the middle of her life. "I am just a guard," he said. "You could be more," she said. Her voice was softer now, almost gentle. "I could give you everything: wealth, land, a title, a place beside me. Beside you. As my consort." She reached out and touched his face. Her fingers were cool against his skin. "Do not look so surprised. Did you think I only wanted to thank you? I have watched you for weeks. The way you move, the way you think, the way you stood in front of those knives without fear. I have never met anyone like you." Jin did not move. His heart was beating fast, but he kept his face calm. "Your Majesty, I am honored, but I am just a human. I will be dead in 50 years. You will still be young. That does not matter to me." "It should matter." The queen pulled back her hand. Something flickered in her gold eyes. Anger, hurt. Jin could not tell. "You refuse me?" she asked. Her voice was cold again. "I do not refuse you," Jin said carefully. "I only say that you deserve better than a human who will grow old and die while you are still beautiful." The queen stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was the laugh of someone who was not used to being told no. "You are strange, human. Any other man in the galaxy would kill for what I offer, but you stand there and tell me I deserve better." "I speak the truth, Your Majesty. That is all I know how to do." The queen walked back to her chair and sat down. She picked up her wine glass again. "Very well, I will not force you. That is not my way, but know this: I am not giving up. I am patient. I have time, and I always get what I want." Jin bowed. "May I return to my duties now, Your Majesty?" "Yes, go protect my daughter, but think about what I said. Think about it carefully." Jin walked to the door. Before he could open it, the queen spoke again. "One more thing, Jin. The assassins, they were sent by someone inside the palace. Someone close to me. I do not know who, but I will find out. And when I do, I will need someone I trust to handle the problem. Someone who is not afraid to do what must be done. Do you understand?" Jin turned and met her gold eyes. "I understand, Your Majesty." "Good, now go." Jin left the room and walked back through the dark halls. His mind was full of thoughts. The queen wanted him as her consort. Someone in the palace wanted the princess dead. And somewhere in the shadows, enemies were watching and waiting. He found his way back to Princess's quarters. She was sitting by her window looking at the moons. When she saw him, she smiled. "You met with my mother?" she asked. "Yes." "What did she want?" Jin paused. He did not want to lie to her, but he did not want to tell her the full truth either. "She wanted to thank me, and to ask me to continue protecting you." Nodded, but there was something in her eyes that told Jin she knew there was more to the story. She was smarter than she looked. "My mother always gets what she wants," said quietly. "Be careful, Jin. She is not cruel, but she is not kind either. She is a queen. Queens do what they must." "I know, Princess." Turned back to the window. "Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to be free, to go wherever I want, to do whatever I want. Is that what life is like for humans?" Jin thought about his life on Earth, the wars, the blood, the friends he had lost. "Freedom is not always as good as it sounds, Princess. Sometimes duty is better, it gives you purpose." Looked at him with something new in her silver eyes. "You are wise, Jin, wiser than most I know." Jin bowed his head. "I am just old, Princess. Old humans learn things whether they want to or not." Laughed softly. It was the first time he had heard her laugh. It was a nice sound. Outside, the two moons rose higher, and somewhere in the palace, Queen Sora sat alone with her wine, thinking about the human who had refused her. She was not angry. She was intrigued. The hunt had just begun. The palace had changed after the assassination attempt. Guards stood at every corner. Visitors were searched before entering. The nobles who once laughed at Jin now looked at him with fear and respect. They had seen what he could do. They did not laugh anymore. But the danger was not over. Jin could feel it. The person who sent the assassins was still out there, hiding in plain sight. 2 weeks after his meeting with Queen Sara, Jin found a letter under his door. It was written in simple words, with no signature. The princess will die before the next full moon. Nothing can save her, not even you, human. Jin read the letter 3 times, then he burned it. He did not tell anyone, not yet. He needed to think. The next full moon was in 10 days. That was how long he had to find the enemy. He started watching everyone in the palace more carefully. He noticed things he had not seen before. Lord met with strange people late at night. One of the princess's servants seemed nervous whenever Jin was near. A group of noble families always went quiet when Queen Sara entered a room. Jin wrote everything down. He connected the pieces slowly, like building a puzzle. On the 5th day, Princess noticed something was wrong. "You look tired," she said. They were walking in the garden. The flowers around them glowed with soft light. "Are you sleeping?" "I am fine, Princess." "You lie," she said. "I have learned to read your face, Jin. Something is worrying you. Tell me." Jin stopped walking. He looked at her. In the past weeks she had changed. She no longer treated him like a servant. She treated him like a friend, maybe something more. He was not sure. "There may be another attack," he said finally. "I am trying to find the enemy before they can act." His face went pale. "Another attack, how do you know?" "I received a warning. I do not know who sent it. It could be a trap. It could be real. Either way, I must be ready." Stepped closer to him. Her silver eyes were full of worry. "You should tell my mother. She has resources, spies. She can help." "I cannot trust anyone, Princess. Not even your mother." Looked hurt. "Do you think my mother would harm me?" "No, but someone close to her might. Until I know who the enemy is, everyone is a suspect." Was quiet for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She took Jin's hand in hers. "I trust you," she said. "Whatever happens, I trust you." Jin felt something warm in his chest. It was strange. He had not felt anything like it in years. "Thank you, Princess." That night, things became more complicated. Jin was standing guard outside his room when Queen Sara appeared. She was alone, without guards. She wore a simple dress that made her look less like a queen and more like a normal woman. "Walk with me," she said. It was not a request. Jin followed her through the silent halls. They walked until they reached a balcony that looked out over the city. The lights of 1,000,000 homes sparkled below them. "I know about the letter," Queen Sora said. Jin was not surprised. The queen had spies everywhere. "How much do you know?" "Everything. I know you have been investigating. I know you suspect Lord. You are correct. He is part of the conspiracy." Jin turned to look at her. "You knew, and you did nothing." "I needed proof. Now I have it. My spies found documents in his room. He has been working with the noble families who oppose my rule. They want to kill because she is the heir. Without her, they can challenge my throne." Jin's hands formed fists. "When will you arrest him?" "I already have. He is in the dungeons now." The queen turned to face Jin. Her gold eyes were soft in the moonlight. "But there is a problem. Lord was not the leader. Someone else is controlling everything. Someone more powerful." "Who?" "My sister." Jin felt cold. "You have a sister." "Her name is Lady Myra. She was supposed to be queen, but our father chose me instead. She has hated me ever since. She lives in exile on a distant planet, but her reach is long. She has been planning this for years." Jin understood now. This was not just about killing the princess. This was about taking the throne. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. Queen Sora stepped closer. She was so close that Jin could feel the heat from her body. "I want you to stay by my side, Jin, not just as my daughter's guard, as mine. Together we can defeat my sister. Together we can protect this empire." She reached up and touched his face just like before. And together, we can be so much more. Jin did not pull away this time, he let her touch him. He felt the conflict inside himself. She was beautiful, powerful, offering him everything. But there was also, young, innocent, who trusted him completely. "Your Majesty," he said slowly, "I am honored by your feelings, but I cannot give you an answer now. Not while the danger is still present. Let me finish my duty first. After your sister is defeated, after is safe, then we can talk about the future." The queen studied his face. For a moment Jin thought she would be angry, but instead she smiled. "You are a good man, Jin. That is why I want you. Very well, finish your duty, protect my daughter, and when this is over I will ask you again." She leaned forward and kissed his cheek. Her lips were soft and cool. Then she turned and walked away, leaving Jin alone on the balcony. Jin stood there for a long time, looking at the city lights. His mind was at war with itself. He had feelings for both of them. The queen with her power and mystery, and with her kindness and gentle heart. He could not have both. He would have to choose. But how could he choose between a queen and a princess? A sound behind him made him turn. It was. She stood in the doorway, her face pale in the moonlight. She had seen everything. "Princess," Jin said, "how long have you been there?" "Long enough." Her voice was shaking. "My mother wants you as her consort." Jin did not deny it. "Yes." "And what do you want?" Jin looked at her. She was crying. Silver tears ran down her blue cheeks. She looked so young, so hurt. "I do not know what I want, princess. I am just a soldier. These feelings, they are new to me." Wiped her tears. "My mother always gets what she wants, Jin. Always. If you choose her, I will not stop you. But know this, I care for you. Not because you saved my life. Because you are the first person who has ever been honest with me. The first person who treats me like a person, not a princess." She turned and ran back into the palace before Jin could respond. Jin was left alone with his thoughts. The two moons stared down at him, cold and distant. In 5 days the enemy would make their move. In 5 days everything would change. He had to be ready, not just for battle, but for the choice he would have to make. He walked back to his position outside's door. He could hear her crying inside. He wanted to go in and comfort her, but he could not. Not yet, not until he knew his own heart. The night was long, the longest night of Jin's life, and morning was still far away. The night of the full moon arrived. The palace was silent and heavy with tension. Extra guards walked the halls. Everyone knew something was coming. They could feel it in the air. Jin stood in the war room with Queen Sara and her generals. Maps covered the tables. Reports came in every hour. Lady Myra's forces had been spotted at the edge of the star system. 3 warships moving fast toward. "She is bold," one general said, "attacking us directly." "She is desperate," Queen Sora replied. "She knows we found out about her plan. If she does not act now, she loses everything." Jin studied the maps. Something did not feel right. 3 ships are not enough to take the planet, he said. Your defense fleet would destroy them in minutes. The generals looked at him with surprise. They were not used to a human speaking in war councils. "What are you suggesting?" Queen Sora asked. "This is a distraction," Jin said. "The real attack will come from inside. She still has people in the palace. The ships are meant to pull your attention away." Queen Sara nodded slowly. "You may be right. What do you suggest?" "I will stay with the princess. Put your best guards with you. Let your generals handle the ships. The true battle will be here in these halls." The queen looked at him with something like pride in her gold eyes. "Very well. Go to my daughter. Keep her safe." Jin bowed and left the room. He walked fast through the palace, his senses sharp and alert. Every shadow seemed dangerous. Every sound made him ready to fight. He found in her chambers. She was sitting by the window, looking at the full moon. She had not spoken to him since that night on the balcony. "Princess," he said, We need to move you to a safer location. Turned to face him, her eyes were red from crying. A safer location. There is nowhere safe, Jin. My aunt wants me dead. She will not stop until I am gone. Jin walked closer to her. I will not let that happen. Why? Stood up, her voice was sharp with pain. Why do you care so much? You are just a guard, a human. Why risk your life for me? Jin looked at her. He saw the fear in her eyes, the loneliness, the need for someone to care about her, not her title, and in that moment he finally understood his own heart. Because I care about you, he said. Not because you are a princess. Because you make me feel like I am more than just a soldier. His breath caught in her throat. Jin. I know your mother wants me, he continued. She is powerful and beautiful. She could give me everything. But when I think about my future, I do not see her. I see you. Tears fell from his eyes. Do you mean that? Before Jin could answer, the door exploded inward. 3 assassins rushed into the room. They wore black clothes and masks. Their blades glowed with poison. Behind them stood a woman Jin had never seen before. She looked like an older version of Queen Sara, but her eyes were cold blue, not gold. Lady Myra. How touching, Lady Myra said. Her voice was like ice. A human confessing his love to my niece. What a perfect moment to kill you both. Jin pushed behind him. He had no weapons. The assassins had blades. The odds were very bad, but Jin had faced worse. Run, he whispered too. There is a secret passage behind the bookshelf. Go. I will not leave you. Go, I will follow. Lady Myra laughed. There is nowhere to run, child. My people are everywhere. The palace is mine now. She waved her hand. The assassins attacked. Jin moved like water. The first assassin swung his blade. Jin ducked, grabbed his arm, and used his own movement against him. The assassin flew into the wall. His head hit the stone with a crack. He did not get up. The second assassin was faster. His blade cut Jin's arm. Pain burned through his body, but Jin ignored it. He stepped inside the assassin's guard and hit him 3 times, throat, stomach, temple. The assassin fell. The third assassin grabbed. He held his blade to her throat. Stop, he hissed, or I kill her. Jin froze. His heart was pounding. One wrong move and would die. Lady Myra walked forward, smiling. You are impressive, human. My sister chose well, but even you cannot save her now. Jin's eyes moved around the room, looking for any advantage. He saw a metal vase on a table near him. He saw the angle of the assassin's arm. He saw the fear in his eyes. Let her go, Jin said. Take me instead. Lady Myra laughed. Why would I do that? She is the heir. You are nothing. I am nothing, Jin agreed. But I know things, military secrets, your sister's weaknesses, things that could help you win. Kill the princess and you get a throne, but keep me alive and you get an empire. Lady Myra's eyes narrowed. She was interested. Jin could see it. Greed was her weakness. Speak, she said. Tell me one secret. Prove your value. Jin smiled. It was not a nice smile. Your sister knew you were coming. Her fleet is not defending the planet. They are waiting behind the third moon. Your ships are flying into a trap. Lady Myra's face went pale. You lie. Check your communications. I will wait. Lady Myra pulled out a small device and spoke rapidly into it. Her face grew paler with each word she heard. When she finished, her hands were shaking. How did she know? She whispered. Because she is smarter than you, Jin said, and then he moved. He grabbed the vase and threw it at the assassin holding. At the same time, he rushed forward. The vase hit the assassin's face. He screamed and let go of. Jin caught and pushed her away. Then he turned and kicked the assassin so hard that his chest caved in. Lady Myra pulled out her own blade. I will kill you myself, human. She was fast, faster than the assassins. Her blade sang through the air. Jin dodged, but she cut his side. Blood ran down his leg. She cut again and again. Each time, Jin barely escaped. But Jin was watching, learning. He saw her patterns. She always moved left after a high strike. She always paused before a thrust. She struck high. Jin moved left where she expected him to be. But at the last moment he dropped low and swept her legs. She fell. Jin grabbed her blade arm and twisted until he heard the bone snap. She screamed. "Yield," Jin said. He was breathing hard. Blood covered his body. "Never," Lady Myra spat. She pulled a small knife from her sleeve with her other hand. A blade burst through her chest. Behind her stood Queen Sara, her sword red with her sister's blood. "I told you," Queen Sara said coldly, "that you should have stayed in exile." Lady Myra's eyes went wide. Then the life left them. She fell to the ground, dead. Queen Sara looked at Jin. Her face was unreadable. "You saved my daughter again." "That is my duty, Your Majesty." Ran to Jin and threw her arms around him. She was crying. "You almost died, you stupid, brave human, you almost died." Jin held her. His wounds hurt, but the pain seemed far away. All he could feel was in his arms. Queen Sara watched them. Something changed in her gold eyes. She understood now. The human had made his choice. "Jin," she said. He looked up at her. "You have served my family well, better than anyone in 1,000 years. I offered you a place beside me. Do you still refuse?" Jin looked at, then back at the Queen. "I am grateful for your offer, Your Majesty, but my heart belongs to another." Queen Sara was silent for a long moment. Then slowly she smiled. It was a sad smile, but also a proud one. "A human who refuses an empress," she said softly. "Remarkable. My daughter is lucky to have you." She turned and walked to the door. Before she left, she looked back one more time. "Protect her, Jin. Protect her like you protected me from my own sister tonight. And perhaps, one day, you will be worthy to call yourself a prince of." She left Jin and were alone. She looked up at him with wonder in her silver eyes. "You chose me," she said, "over my mother, over power, over everything." Jin touched her face gently. "I chose what my heart wanted. For the first time in my life, I followed my heart instead of my duty." Stood on her toes and kissed him. It was soft and sweet like starlight. Outside, the full moon shone down on the palace. Lady Myra's fleet was destroyed. Her conspiracy was ended. The empire was safe. And in a quiet room, a human soldier held a princess in his arms and knew that he had finally found something worth fighting for. Not duty, not honor, not survival. Love. It was a very human thing. And in the end, it was the most powerful thing of all.